Ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the mic, he is the Pro Wrestling Savant, the host of the hottest wrestling podcast on the internet, NerdyD!
What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the most distinguished pro wrestling podcast on the internet, the NerdyD Wrestling Podcast with the Savant. I am your host, NerdyD, aka the Pro Wrestling Savant, aka the single greatest wrestling podcaster of this generation. That is fact. That is now officially fact. I've been told by numerous people. Greatest of all time.
Goat.
And joining me tonight, fully running the board and the video equipment for the first time, so bear with us, is my beautiful and lovely wife, Miss Lauren.
What's up, y'all?
Each and every week, I sit here and talk pro wrestling from the perspective of a real, unbiased fan. I am not here to ask for donations. I am not one of those guys. I am here to talk my shit and piss the internet off. If you have questions and you want to submit to the show, you can do that through YouTube or TikTok by emailing questions@pwsavant.com. All right, so I wanted to start off this week with shout outs because it seems like every week I start off by talking shit and saying, this guy talks shit, this guy talks shit. So I want to start this week off with some shout outs, right?
Okay.
The truth is, when we started this podcast, it started as a joke, right? I saw an opportunity to piss some people off, and I took that opportunity and I ran with it, and then it became fun to do and started meeting a few fun people in the comments, and it became something that it was enjoyable, but then it got bogged down by a bunch of just fucking trolls and idiots and people who said I was disruptive and tried to cancel me, which then leads me to fucking go back and double down and go after them. And we went through several different variations of this podcast, but we've ended up here. But what it boils down to is what I wanted to do is I want to take this week to actually shout out some people who have actually been respectful. Now, these people don't always agree with me. These people haven't always taken my side or been on my side, but these are people who have been fun to engage with and talk back and forth with, right?
Yeah.
So shout out to Hey Miss Martin, which is somebody who I've seen very active lately, who they don't always agree, but they're in the comments and they're active. And even when they disagree, there's a respectful retort back and forth. It's not, hey, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Even though you posted a video last week of me talking about the people who wanted to cancel me.
Yeah.
And one guy, I made me fucking laugh so hard. One guy's answer was, I hate your fucking wrestling takes, but do your thing. And I'm even okay with that. Like, I'm okay with that. If you understand that they're my opinions and I'm saying whatever the fuck I want, then that's a cool back and forth between us. Also, shout out to Big Willie from Philly.
Ooh.
Now, Big Willie from Philly was the first person who caught on to the fact that initially this whole thing was a fucking troll. That this whole thing was just to go after people like Heel Josh and the infamous Opinionist and those guys who thought they were gatekeeping this fucking thing. And I came in with this whole CM Punk fucking character that I created where I was going to restore balance to wrestling TikTok, and I was the savior and the voice of the voiceless.
Yeah.
And god damn, it irritated those people so bad. And I loved every minute. And Big Willie from Philly was the first person who really fucking caught on to the fact that this was all a joke. I mean, this was all a character. It was all about just disrupting this little community that fucking thinks they think their opinion is just fucking God.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't care if I'm right or wrong. I'm here to talk shit, talk back to me, have fun. That's all this is about, right? Shout out to Vince McMahon Jr., who this person does agree with almost everything I say. We fucking, our minds are very similar.
Yeah.
And he seems to almost all the time align with my thoughts. And that's always fun because it's like having an ally in the comments. Somebody who's got my back, because constantly it feels like I'm fighting a battle against idiots. That's what it feels like most of the time. It's trolls and idiots because they're not even, their responses don't even fucking make sense.
Your mom.
Yeah. Oh, just shut the fuck. One guy told me that my takes make him want to die.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you about that. That seems like you probably should stop listening to me.
Yeah.
If that's where we're going, because there is an option when you're listening to just scroll past me when I pop up.
But they like
Which
you.
I assume a lot of people are doing now. A lot of people have fucking passed me, but there's a certain amount of people who get an addiction to disliking.
Yeah.
And they like to dislike me. And I'm good with that too, right? Then on the YouTube side, I have at Tascano from YouTube. Mm-hmm. He shouts us out quite often in our comments on YouTube, so shout out to him. And then Nassisser Alexander, and I'm probably butchering all these fucking names. And that's just know that's not my strong point, is not reading screen names.
Yes, sir.
I read them like I see them.
Read them like
Yeah. So, and there's a ton more people, and I'll do my best. What I'm gonna try and do is when I see people who are in the community and they're playing properly, right? They're not, I fucking want to die, or you should kill yourself, or you're a fucking idiot. When I see those people, I want to make it a point to write their name down and shout them out. And like I said, there's plenty more. I came up with this idea about 30 minutes before the show to just say, hey man, instead of starting the show with a negative vibe this week, I'm gonna start it off with like fucking shout outs to the people that I recognize are in there, and they're communicating. It's not, like I said, those people don't always say I'm right.
True.
They just always, they communicate in a fucking adult way that when they let me know, and there's a lot of times that they sway my opinion, right? They'll say something to me and I go, oh shit, I didn't look at it from that angle. That makes more sense. Now I'm going to use that as partially my opinion. A lot of times Vince McMahon Jr. will do that, right? He'll add on to what I say and I go, oh shit, I didn't even go that deep with it to see that's the opinion I should have, right? Mm-hmm. And also just for fun, I want to shout out, we thought this was fun, at Brianna Brandy, which is formerly B-Fab from Hit Row.
Yeah.
She commented on our video where I claimed that I couldn't find her age on TikTok, which was completely a joke, right? Was not meant, people try to find offensive shit and like racism and everything. There was not any racist intent in that. No. There was no fucking, it was not meant to be offensive to her. It was a fucking joke that I can't tell.
I couldn't find it.
But I also can't tell how old people are.
Yeah.
I can't fucking do it. It's not a skill I possess. I possess a lot of skills. That's not one of them. So I had no fucking clue. And she came back and she commented, someone added her, which I thought was cool. And she came back and replied, the real ones will never tell their age. That's the end of the story, man. Yeah. She closed the fucking case. I don't need to know now.
Classic.
And I assume that she understands that I'm a fucking idiot who talks on a microphone for fun. And talk shit about wrestling, and I make jokes, and I saw fun when I couldn't find her age, but it is always cool when someone recognizes what you do and comments on something. It's like, it's a little bit of recognition from the real wrestling world, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So shout out to her for at least just laughing about it and not coming in and fucking tearing my head off for a fucking joke.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So we're coming out of Survivor Series here, right?
Yes, we are.
And I had a few thoughts on this show because it's one of those things with Survivor Series. I thought it was a good pay-per-view. I don't think it was great, and I don't think it was necessarily bad. I just kind of left watching the show thinking, that's an okay pay-per-view. It was good. It's practically pointless, okay? Mm-hmm. Survivor Series was practically pointless because almost everything that happened meant nothing going forward. WWE has this belief system where I think they know now that wrestling fans are so short-minded that they're just going to forget what happens as we move forward. And so it's not a big deal. They just, and this is the same gripe I had about AEW, and now WWE showing me the same thing. It's like, let's just put a bunch of matches together that don't really mean anything. They look good on paper, and everybody will be excited. And then tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw, we'll just pretend like none of that ever happened. Yeah. We'll just kind of go, right? Becky and Charlotte was my match of the night. I don't know what you thought. I think that was the match of the night.
I loved it. I was excited to see that that's what they were opening up with.
See, I wasn't. I don't, that goes against my format. I think that almost should have closed the show, especially because with the anticipation of like, is The Rock there or isn't he there? I think you could have put some of that to bed if you had Roman and Big E go first. Mm-hmm. And let Charlotte and Becky, that was definitely the most hyped match, was that match.
Yeah.
So why not let that one go last? I would have had that one go last. The finish was okay, I guess. Becky cheated to win, but they're both kind of heel characters. But once again, what does this matter? I mean, other than a pride standpoint, this match doesn't mean anything. Going forward, now Becky Lynch has to contend with Liv Morgan, and Charlotte's got Sasha and Shotzi and those girls to contend with. But this match, it doesn't really matter, right?
Yep.
Then I thought Big E and Roman Reigns was a close second for match of the night to me. Even though I don't think that Roman Reigns and Big E have real good chemistry in the match. And
No.
it could just be from lack of wrestling together, right? But they kind of have this, they both have a slow and methodical style where to look good, they both need to look like the strong aggressor.
Yeah.
And so it felt a lot of like, almost not no selling because they're selling each other, but it almost felt like they had to protect both people so that they constantly looked strong enough to handle what the other one was dishing out. It ended up
100%.
being a good match, not
Okay.
great, good, second best match of the night to me, but it didn't come without flaws,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Like I said, the show's good, but it's forgettable. All of my predictions for that fucking show were wrong.
Yes, 100%.
But they were all based on nothing other than just, I normally
thought.
don't guess with my heart, right?
Yeah.
Guess who I like, guess what I want to happen. I normally guess based on logic. But because Survivor Series is a show that absolutely needs zero logic because it's a all-star game after the draft, it's pointless. It's a pointless show, right?
You were right about Bianca Belair, though, weren't you?
I was right about that. I mean, I
was your
wasn't
one.
completely wrong. I had some things I knew, some points they were going to hit, but there were a few things I was wrong about, right?
Yeah.
One of those I was wrong about was Damian Priest. I thought, what a prime opportunity to put Damian Priest over and let him cleanly beat Shinsuke Nakamura. Instead, on the pre-show, you go with him breaking Rick Boog's guitar and getting a DQ finish, which for a match that's not going to be seen by most people, right? Because the pre-show, most fans aren't watching the pre-show.
Yeah.
What did this really accomplish? I guess it protected Shinsuke, but what are we protecting Shinsuke for? If he's defended the belt one time in 90 days, we obviously aren't worried about Shinsuke. And if we're trying to get Damian over as this kind of monsterly heel, I think this looked kind of like a weird Rick Boogs was annoying him. So now like Damian Priest doesn't have the attention span to focus on a match if a guy's playing a guitar. But honestly, why the fuck does he have a guitar during the match? Like,
Because it's fucking Rick Boogs.
I guess so.
I love
Whatever.
him. He's one of my favorites.
So I called the Becky Lynch match.
You
I did
did.
call that match, but that was probably the easiest fucking match of the night to call, right? They weren't going to put Charlotte over in this position.
Yeah.
With all the trouble that she's rumored to be causing in the back, this at least was some sort of punishment, was her not getting to go over Becky Lynch and keep calling herself, the best in the world.
Yeah.
I did see an interview with Charlotte, and
What happened?
I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. I don't want to get caught up in not understanding the difference in kayfabe and what's really going on. But sometimes with her, I think when she's interviewing, she's speaking from her heart. She says that her ambition and this like doesn't play well with others mentality, it comes off sour because she's a woman. I don't like that. I think here that argument doesn't work. A lot of times I get that argument, right? But here I just think you just don't play well with others. People don't like you. Women don't like you. Men don't like you. I don't know of many people who still really love Charlotte Flair, except people who are just hardcore Charlotte Flair fans. I said this about 4 or 5 weeks ago that I never understood the appeal of Charlotte Flair.
I actually never liked Charlotte Flair until recently. I like that she's kind of starting shit.
Yeah, but I don't know. You're an instigator.
I am.
You
I like
that kind of
the
shit. I
drama.
don't.
So
to me,
it's
me,
like Real Housewives in real life.
except that I think it's real life. I think she's rubbing people the wrong way. And when it becomes that, and you hear rumors of like Becky Lynch being worried about working with her in the ring and fearing for like safety, that's not fun.
Yeah,
anymore.
that's not cool then. That isn't cool, but
RK Bro went over the Usos. I called this one wrong again. I thought
love
I thought
them.
for sure. Oh, so we'll get to that later. I don't think WWE got it wrong. I'm saying I got it wrong. I thought the Usos needed a win.
You did.
I thought they were in desperate need of a win. I feel like they become the Roman Reigns punching bag, right? The bloodline punching bag.
That's what they are.
And as I laid this show out in my head and I was keeping score, I didn't think Monday Night Raw would win as many matches as it did.
They did, didn't they?
So this is one where I thought, oh, okay, this is where we'll even up the score with SmackDown. It's not going to hurt RK Bro to lose this match, which I still don't think it would have hurt them. I don't necessarily think it. I mean, I think it cost the Usos more. I think they needed the win most on this pay-per-view of anybody, and they didn't get it. And at this point, I think they run the risk of everybody starting to look at the Usos as a punching bag. And they're so much better than that.
They've lost some of their oomph to me and power.
It just feels like they're running around. Xavier Woods kind of got to them. I can't remember who else. Someone else got to them before that, but it does start to feel like they're the Roman Reigns punching bag, and they're not necessarily a team that's over like they were before.
Yeah.
Team Raw, the women's match. I did call this. I expected this to happen. Didn't necessarily expect it to go 1-on-4, but that was fun. As this was a match where I actually got up and got excited during the show, because it was fun to see Bianca go 1-on-4, even though that's very predictable. When it comes down to 1-on-4 and it's your biggest baby face in the company, here comes a John Cena moment, right? Mm-hmm. Where Becky or Bianca's just going to run through the 4. She ran through the 4. Obviously, she was the sole survivor. And they're doing exactly what I said they needed to do with Bianca, right? Get her away from Becky Lynch and rebuild her character. Rebuild her as a strong competitor. Because if you just continue to have her come up short against Becky Lynch, you take the mystique away from Bianca Belair, and she's pretty over with the crowd.
Yeah.
The crowds seem to like her. I don't know. I've asked this question before, but who's the biggest babyface in the WWE right now? RK Bro, possibly. I said Finn Balor at one point, but he's kind of
not a
faded.
babyface to
Yes,
me right
he is.
now.
He's a babyface. I mean, he's a good guy.
I guess so.
Yeah, I don't. Big E could be the biggest babyface, but I don't know. But Bianca feels like she could be the biggest babyface in the company because she gets pretty substantial pops every time
Everybody
she goes out there to
loves her.
wrestle. Yeah. So I'm happy that they're going the route I thought they would go. They're rebuilding her character. She'll come back probably around WrestleMania. I can go out on a limb and go, I think Bianca Belair possibly could win the Royal Rumble this year. I could see that happening.
I'm quoting you right here. We're going to come back.
But I could see that happening. It would make sense to me because she's going to run through this program with Doudrop.
Uh-huh.
I got more on that in a minute.
Okay.
But she's going to run through this program with Doudrop, and then it seems like they're keeping this luster of an idea that she's a title contender. And I think if she won at Royal Rumble, that would give her the steam to go into WrestleMania. And outside of Alexa Bliss coming back, I don't know what a bigger match at WrestleMania is than Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair. I can't see what the bigger women's title match is.
Yeah.
Okay, so talking about again, Roman Reigns went over Big E, and it was clean finish, which I was against this from the beginning. I was screaming from the rooftops. Big E's going to win. It's going to be by disqualification. It's going to be The Rock. It's going to be Brock Lesnar. It was none of the above. It was a straight up clean finish. Roman Reigns goes over Big E, and I think this spells disaster for Big E's title reign. I do think that with it's seemingly Roman Reigns is going to keep the belt until WrestleMania. That's the plan here.
For sure.
It's obvious, right? He's going to break all these records. He's going to WrestleMania. He's either going to fight Brock Lesnar or he's going to fight The Rock at WrestleMania. So that belt is locked up. And that's not fun. Let's be honest, right? It's not fun when you go into every pay-per-view knowing Roman Reigns is not going to lose the belt. So we go, okay, that belt is tied up. So now we look at Big E and we look at the WWE Championship and we go, that belt's got to be the main feature of every pay-per-view moving forward, right? Because we want the idea that the belts can change place, that they can, that the title can change at any time, and that's the title that can do it. Mm-hmm. So I think this spells bad news for Big E as far as his title reign goes. I don't if he went over Roman, I think all right, they're putting the company on his back and they're gonna let him go forward with this belt. With him losing cleanly, I think it was hey man, it's not guaranteed you're gonna keep that belt.
Yeah. The
25-man clusterfuck that just came out of nowhere to me. I know they announced it, but I still forgot about it. 25 motherfuckers in the ring, also that we can be, also that they can shove down our fucking throat that Omos is a real thing.
Yeah.
He's a big deal. He can fight 25 fucking mid-carders and throw them all out of the ring.
Yeah.
Come on, man. This is where WWE fucks up the most. It's when they start shoving these people down our fucking throat. If Omos is going to get over, let Omos get over naturally. If you're going to keep trying to fucking convince me that Omos is this fucking giant and just this monster, he's not. He's stiff. He moves slow. Someone told me he played basketball before this, so I went and watched his basketball highlights. I played Division I college basketball. I know what a good basketball player looks like. Omos is just a big person. He's not athletic. He's not extremely talented. He's not unbelievably gifted. Obviously not in basketball and obviously not in wrestling. He's not. And that's not, I mean, fuck it. Not everybody can be a super athlete, but they got to quit shoving him down our throat. Just let him be. He's not more interesting than the Big Show was. He's not more interesting than Braun Strowman was.
Nope.
Someone told me, they go, well, he's fucking better than the Great Khali. And I'm like, okay, that's fucking setting the bar about as low as you could set it.
Yeah.
Because I don't give any praise to the Great Khali. And yes, the Great Khali, I think he's in the WWE Hall of Fame, but it's only because he's giant. That's why. It's because he was a spectacle. He's the bearded lady of the WWE. And that's what Omos is becoming, right? Because we're not believing Omos can really fucking, like, if he really gets put into a one-on-one match with somebody of any kind of physical stature that has athleticism, we're not really believing that he's winning that, right?
Brock Lesnar versus Omos.
Well, that's not that. I mean, that's exactly right. Brock Lesnar versus Omos doesn't even. You couldn't. It's laughable. That's laughable. Roman Reigns versus Omos. That's laughable. So where does Omos go from here? Big E versus Omos. That's laughable. He's just. What is he gonna keep slapping people in the chest and choke slamming them? I mean, at least Kane and the Undertaker were mobile big men. They got around the ring, and I know Omos is like 7'3" or something like that, but. At a certain point, size is overvalued in WWE.
Yeah.
Your prime guys are your Drew McIntyres, your Roman Reigns, guys that are 6'5", 6'6", 6'4", and just athletic as fuck. That kind of size is believable.
Yeah.
When you get up into I'm 7'3" and I fucking walk on stilts, it's boring. It's not worth it, right?
True.
So that match was a waste of time to me. Then last but not least here, I want to talk about the men's Survivor Series match. Mm-hmm. I thought it was interesting that Raw won both men and women's Survivor Series matches. I thought with the whole Fox and USA thing that, like, I just in my head it played out that WWE is going to be fair and they're going to split these up and have one team win here.
Yeah.
Obviously didn't go that way. I said Raw needed this. Raw needed this push because, once again, SmackDown's fine. SmackDown's a good watch every week. Raw is still finding its tone. And I like the tone that it's finding, but it's still finding that tone. So having Seth Rollins come out of this thing as the sole survivor, it gives Seth all the fuel he needs to move forward and do Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Because that's what Seth Rollins does. Anytime he wins a contract, a Money in the Bank, a match that gets him, bragging rights, great. That's 3 more weeks of Seth Rollins coming out and talking about how great he is as the sole survivor, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But it came down to Seth Rollins and Jeff Hardy. And you saw me the entire time going, what the fuck's happening? What is happening here? Why? What? I don't understand. I don't understand the appeal of Jeff Hardy.
Me neither.
I don't get it. And don't get me wrong. I understand the nostalgia of Jeff Hardy. I respect Jeff Hardy's body of work. I think he's made a lot of stupid fucking decisions in wrestling that should have cost him kind of his respect to a certain degree. But I don't understand. In 2021, what is the appeal of Jeff Hardy? because he's not overly athletic. He's not an incredible high flyer like he used to be. Mm-hmm. He's not great on a microphone. I like I said a couple weeks ago, I feel like he just wanders around most of the time. He's like wandering the backstage. I don't know. But there's a group of fans who fucking love him.
Yeah, that's mind-boggling.
There's a hardcore group of fans. Like you heard when it came down to Seth Rollins versus Jeff Hardy, there were a group of fans who were fucking behind him. Now, I remember the Hardy Brothers days in the Attitude Era and the ladder matches with Edge and Christian. I remember that. I didn't follow Jeff Hardy to TNA and all of that stuff. So I don't know that story, or I don't have that lineage with him. Uh-huh. And I'm not hating on the people who like him, but if someone can explain to me in 2021, why are we so fucking excited about him? Because to me, he just reads as like an old guy stuck in the 90s.
Yes, 100%.
Right? Like the fucking big pants, and I get it. That's his shtick. That's his fucking character. But I don't, where is this like
But you can modernize it.
Well, they can do whatever. And I know they're talking about like the Willow character coming back, and that's cool. And when it happens, I'll get into it. But right now, as this stands, Jeff Hardy as stands, I don't understand the big love for him in 2021. I don't get it. And I'm not even hating. I just clearly, I don't understand it. Someone explain to me why I'm supposed to be behind a guy who's clearly, how old is he?
I don't know. I would think like, I'll look it up right now, but
I got it right here. 44.
Okay, but it looks like a hard 44.
It does to me too. I guess maybe that's my misconception
he's younger
too.
than I thought he was.
Me too. It feels like he's been doing it, but I guess one of my problems that I don't think about, drugs is one, but I guess he started wrestling like in high school for WWE.
Oh.
So I guess he was so young when he started that it's just a misconception in my brain on how old he is and how long he's been doing it, when really there's a lot of guys who are 44 years old right now that are doing just fine. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he does anything exceptionally well.
No.
He's not great on the microphone. He's not overly charismatic. He jumps off the ropes quite a bit, but it's not like Dante Martin, right? Yeah. It's not like this boom, 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 boom. It's not lucha style. It's just kind of slow paced. I guess it's nostalgia. I'm going to go with nostalgia, but somebody can explain to me why the fans are so over with Jeff Hardy. Okay, so moving forward, now we have to wait until January 1st for this WWE Day 1 event, which is like a New Year's pay-per-view that falls on some weird day. It's not a Sunday. Maybe a Saturday? Possibly Saturday. Might be Saturday, which is weird. I don't like when they do that. But we're waiting for this Day 1 event with no real big storylines to speak of, right? We've got a Saturday, right? Okay. So there's no major storylines to speak of in the works. And it pisses me off because we have tickets for Friday Night SmackDown next week, right? Yeah. Not this week, but next week.
Yeah.
And it just looks to me like there's not a lot going on. It's going to be more Roman Reigns, more Xavier Woods, which is great. I'm all about that. But it's just, I don't know what we're building to. And maybe, hopefully they take this whole month and build up to a big event. But knowing WWE, they'll fuck around and they'll start building for that a week out, like after Christmas.
Yeah.
I go back and forth. I like TLC, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. That was always a fun event in December.
Yes.
It was always a show. It was gimmicky as hell. That we're going to bring out tables, we're going to bring out ladders, we're going to bring out chairs. But those matches are what the crowd fucking loves. Like, we love tables matches, and we love ladder matches, and we love fucking bringing out chairs and hardcore and fighting in the crowd. Yeah, I mean, those matches are fun to watch. That's what makes wrestling and not just two guys grabbing each other all the fucking time. So I'm going to miss TLC. It's a little sad, I guess.
Is it gone forever or just?
I mean, I don't know. They reshuffle things around, but as far as I know, that was the scheduled December pay-per-view, and now it's gone. And so we go into this Day 1 event, and I have no fucking clue what to expect. Is it going to be a gimmicky like New Year's thing? The Day 1 should be the draft. That would be fucking cool. Mm-hmm. That would have been cool. And so, okay, so let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Let's follow up with Monday Night Raw then, right? And let's talk about, I didn't really talk about this when we talked about the pay-per-view, but let's talk about it now. This egg thing.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that was the stupidest fucking angle I thought this was going to build to a longer storyline. I didn't think we were going to get this thing cleared up in one night.
Yeah.
Now, but let me be clear, because I did see people on the internet who were pissed off because they valued the egg at $100 million, right? And these people were like, that's a bad look after you've just had budget cuts and you've cut wrestlers and you're getting rid of people. Hold on, guys. Come on. We gotta suspend belief for a little bit and understand that what we're watching is still a movie.
True. What
we're watching is still made for entertainment. And when they value that egg at $100 million or $100 billion, it doesn't fucking matter. We can't start placing like the real stakes of a fucking company who lays people off and hires new people, and they have business practices that they abide by, right? Whether you agree or disagree, that doesn't affect, you can't let the storylines then go, well, Vince McMahon has all this money. Yeah, I don't fucking know how much money Vince McMahon has. I'm sure it's a lot of money.
And even if he does,
I'm sure the WWE has a lot of money. But I also know, as far as budget cuts go, like I said 2 weeks ago, man, that's the nature of business. If you want new wrestlers, you always have to be trimming the fat. That's just what it is. And I'll get into that more when we get to headlines here. I didn't like that they fed Austin Theory to Big E after finding the egg.
That was stupid.
I feel like Austin Theory was a guy who was on a steep uprise and fucking around with the mid card and kind of getting rid of like Rey Mysterio and some guys like that and Sami Zayn and just picking off people like that. I don't remember exactly who he fought, but he's been in the mix in the mid card and he's been having like a hot run. And the whole selfie thing was funny and cool. And I like to go to Instagram. It got me going to Instagram to see the selfies.
Yeah.
So everything about that. So then you feed him to Big E, and I get it. You catapult him. I don't get it. I don't like this idea that guys getting catapulted into a main event match. Mm-hmm. They use this argument with CM Punk, right? Darby Allin got to fight CM Punk. It got eyes on Darby Allin. Casual wrestling fans see wins as wins and losses as losses.
Yeah.
So casual wrestling fans see Austin Theory get fed to Big E and they go,
he sucks.
He can't beat the champion. That's just like casual fan logic. I understand the other side of that like, oh, we got to see Austin Theory in a main event. Cool. That's great for Austin Theory. But I think they have something with Austin Theory that I hope they don't fuck up. I like the character. I think super athletic kid. I don't like that they fed him to Big E on this show. It felt like kind of a run stopper to me.
Definitely.
Now, one thing I do like about this whole thing is it's starting to feel like Big E is in a swamp of title contenders.
Okay.
Which most wrestling shows don't do well, right? Usually wrestling shows tell you this is the one guy that's going to compete for the belt, right? On AEW, Bryan Danielson's competing with Hangman Adam Page. On SmackDown, it's whoever's next in line, Xavier Woods, Brock Lesnar. It's one guy, and they focus on that. Right now on Monday Night Raw, it feels like it could be Kevin Owens. Mm-hmm. It could be Seth Rollins. Obviously, it could be Austin Theory. Finn Balor's waiting kind of in the wind here. Mm-hmm. So it feels to me like Monday Night Raw has this kind of cool feel of, at this point in time, Big E is surrounded by problems.
Yeah.
And I like that. There's credible threats to his title right now.
Never know what's going to happen.
I talked about it a second ago.
Okay.
We know Roman Reigns is going to hold the belt until WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's common knowledge at this point. You can't have two protected champions for the next 4 months. WWE just can't do that. So I really feel like Big E's belt is at stake here. He's in trouble. I just want to throw that in.
Do you think that they'll give it back to him, or it's just like...
I think he'll hang around the title picture, but I think at some point before Mania, he's going to drop the belt, and maybe they go with like a redemption angle where he can win it back at Mania against whoever. But I don't foresee Big E. I don't foresee both major titles staying put all the way up to WrestleMania.
Boring.
Yeah, that's
4 months is a long time.
It's a long time.
So
okay, so let's talk about RK Bro for a second.
Oh,
we were talking about them earlier, right? Jesus, Riddle cosplaying as Randy Orton, fucking fantastic. It was that's
loved
gold.
It.
That's Randy Orton and Riddle taking. You know, you talk about guys grabbing a brass ring and doing shit. They're guys who are just stuck in a comedy act, right? They have the tag team titles, but there's not a lot of emphasis on the tag team titles right now. So they go out and they make fucking entertainment where it's not. That was great. I laughed so hard, especially when fucking Randy Orton put the mustache back on Riddle.
Dude, that was fucking classic.
And then he asked him, "Where's the beard?"
Yeah.
He's like, he tore it off. That's great.
It was so good that at the end, I was waiting for them both to go up on the ring and pose with each other. Like that had to happen for me.
You knew it was coming. And even like him winning with the RKO and showing, like, it just makes the RKO that much fucking more of a devastating finishing move.
Yeah.
That Riddle could use it and get over. Awesome. I thought that was an awesome segment. I thought, like I said, Randy Orton just seems to find a way to be fucking relevant.
He's always been one of my favorites.
Even when he's not relevant. Even when he's not the main event, he's the talk. I come out of Monday Night Raw going, fucking Orton, man. Orton and Riddle, I've missed out. They irritated me at first. I was like, I don't understand this on and off relationship. Now, fucking the payoff, I'm like, I get it. I get exactly where they were going with this.
I agree.
And I love that it seems like Riddle is embracing the little brother role to Randy Orton.
Yes.
And what a better guy to just fucking absorb all of that fucking knowledge from, right? Let's talk about Bianca Belair for a second.
Okay.
I said earlier that the rebuild continues. And I think that's exactly what's happening. She's just going to keep going. She's going to run through the rest of the women's roster. Would be interesting if Alexa Bliss comes back soon.
Okay.
Which I'm guessing is around the Royal Rumble. She'll show back up. I could see, like I said, I could see Bianca winning the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
I could see Alexa and Becky Lynch having some kind of program. And then I could see some form of those three as a title match at WrestleMania.
Okay.
Be it Alexa, Bianca, Becky, Bianca, or even all three of them in the ring at the same time.
Yeah.
Those are the three main Raw women that can carry the belt and hold people's attention right now. So you watched it, right?
I did watch it.
You watched it. So Doudrop came out and attacked Bianca.
Yeah.
Was that body drop the most devastating fucking... Jesus Christ. Do you remember when she fucking laid
I did.
She jumped and laid on top of her? That, I don't give a fuck if it's real or fake. That has to hurt. That has to fucking hurt.
Yeah.
Jesus, that is the
don't
most...
like Doudrop
That
at
is the
all.
most devastating finishing move in all of WWE. I don't know what they're fucking... Are they calling it...
It was a fucking Mortal Kombat
Are they calling
move.
it the Doudrop? Because Dew dropped all over that shit. That was ridiculous.
Fatality.
Crazy. Has anybody checked on Bianca up until this point?
She might have a broken collarbone.
at Bianca in this video just to make sure she is still alive after that shit?
Yes, for
It
sure.
looked brutal. It was bad.
I did see that.
We got new women's tag team champions. Does anybody fucking care?
No.
Because they treat it like it's non-existent. Like all of a sudden, here comes Rhea Ripley and Nikki Ash. They have a tag team title match. Oh, they lose it on Raw. And now Carmella and Queen Zelina are your new tag team champions, which great. I like Carmella and Zelina, but there's no division. There's no tag team division in the women's side.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, I swear
We
to God.
have a title and you have a
Well,
title.
I swear to God, they're in the back and they're like, we need two people. You and you are going to be partners. And then you and you are going to be partners tonight. Mm-hmm. There's no semblance of like a team. Like you have the Usos.
Yeah.
Right? RK Bro.
RK Bro.
They form a gimmick around them. With the women, it's like Tamina and Natalia.
Yeah, I mean,
Just like two people.
no offense, but like, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
But it's not even that. It's just there's no semblance of like.
They don't have anything in common other
got
than
rid of
that
the
they're
Iconics,
bigger,
right? The
like,
Iconics,
stronger girls.
The Iconics were a tag team.
Loved them.
You had the Bella Twins were like
Loved 'em.
a tag team that made sense. But in the women's tag team division, there's no women's teams that make sense from a gimmick standpoint.
You even had, what was it, Alexa Bliss and the one who went to AEW.
Who was it? I
Right,
think you're
Ruby
wrong.
Riott. Weren't they a team?
No, that was Nikki Ash and Alexa Bliss for a long time.
Okay, that's who it
who
was.
It
I got
wasn't.
confused.
But even then, that didn't make a lot of sense. It was just two people thrown into a tag team together.
All right.
All right, so let's get to kind of the main topic of Monday Night Raw, right? We know Seth Rollins beat up Finn Balor. Their match didn't happen. But I'd be remiss if I didn't comment on the aftermath of this situation, right?
Yes.
Because I found myself going down a fucking rabbit hole last night. When
Okay.
this was super interesting to me. So unless you live under a wrestling rock, you know that a fan jumped over the barricade and attempted to tackle Seth Rollins on his way backstage, right?
Yeah.
You saw it. Everybody
yeah, I
saw
saw
it.
that.
It's been all over TikTok. It's been all over YouTube, right? Now, initially, I wanted to write this off as just a crazy person. Just someone with mental disability who believe, I don't know. I don't know how I want to word that. Just somebody who just they don't see clearly, right?
Yeah.
And I want to write it off as that and let it go. But then I made a mistake and I followed down the rabbit hole. I found out who this guy was, right?
Uh-huh.
And I went to his TikTok and I went to his Instagram and I found out, holy fuck, this guy is not just crazy. He's batshit crazy.
Okay, why?
This guy is batshit crazy.
Why?
So this guy put up like a 30-minute Instagram story.
Okay.
Where he released like a dossier of facts and evidence and documents of conversations that he's been having with Seth Rollins.
Okay.
Like text messages.
Yeah.
On multiple applications.
Okay.
Looks like some phone text. Looks like some Instagram DMs. Looks like maybe some TikTok. I don't know. Just holy shit. A whole dossier, right?
Okay.
This guy's claiming that he's Roman Reigns' cousin.
Shut up.
He calls himself something like the Great Fatu or something like that. This motherfucker is out here saying he's claiming that Vince McMahon knew he was going to be at Monday Night Raw.
Oh,
so that means this motherfucker's had conversations with multiple people. He's had conversations with a alleged Seth Rollins. He's had conversations with an alleged Vince McMahon who knew he was going to be here. This dude is on his Instagram stories sending shout outs and thank yous.
Wait, did he tell his cousin that he was coming?
I don't fucking know. But he's sending shout outs and thank yous to other professional wrestlers, thanking them for the opportunity and things like that. You can't make this shit up. I can't believe this is real. This dude, how good is Seth Rollins at his fucking job? First off, that he's got people jumping the ramp wanting to fight him. Secondly, how
did he get back there? Is my question, with nobody catching him until like bam, right on impact. Somebody
to me,
nobody?
It's not that hard. You can't have security everywhere.
Yeah, he fucking came running fast. Like just I've never seen a big man
That
run
was a
so
big
fast,
man moving
man.
fast.
I was like, what the fuck just happened here?
Jumping to the other topic here. There was a subculture of fans who were sending thank yous to this man.
For what?
Oh man, you made Monday Night Raw exciting. Like they live this shit. I do this shit. It's for fun. Sometimes I go into kayfabe and pretend like it's real, and that's fun. But nowhere do I ever believe that I need to go fight Seth Rollins. Like that's never been an option for me, right?
Yeah.
So this guy, he's got people. There's a subculture who believe that this guy enhanced Monday Night Raw.
He definitely did something.
I just don't know, right? I don't know if he's working like an independent angle for a wrestling company, like an Invasion. But he was on Instagram talking his fucking shit the
Even
next
after?
day. Yes.
Oh my god.
I mean, he was
But
just
he's going
fucking
to jail though.
He was out on bail.
Damn.
He's walking the fucking streets.
It's his fans, his fan club.
But what I don't get, so then there's another subculture of people, right? And there's a subculture of people who go, oh, he got Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins had time to defend himself. Hold on, man. If someone runs up to you in your fucking cubicle and just fucking attempts to tackle you, you're not in the state of mind that you're about to fight. Seth Rollins, if you turn and you see a big man running at you, he's got very little time to react, and he's got nothing to gain.
And even then, if you saw the video, like at one point you saw the other guys almost push Seth out and like his hair got caught.
No, I agree, but he has nothing.
He went back like he wanted some.
There's nothing to gain. So
No.
let's say he just squares off and kicked this dude in the nuts, right? And then fucking DDTs him into the ground and he breaks the kid's neck. And you
Yeah.
come to find out the kid had mental disabilities or
Yeah.
something. All right. Now you're the guy who beat up the special kid.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not a win situation.
Yeah.
Let's say he just fucks the guy up in general and the guy was coming to give him a fucking hug, which obviously he wasn't, but that's a no-win situation. There's no winning that situation. Seth Rollins is a fucking superstar.
Yeah.
He makes millions of dollars wrestling. This is a crazy person running at him.
True.
If a crazy person's run at you in your fucking cubicle, you're not in the state of mind to fight back. And like you said, the minute the guy was on top of Seth squirmed out the bottom, and that referee was on it and security was on it.
Yeah.
I don't fucking, man.
It was fucking awesome, though. I literally like.
I mean, it's not awesome. It's scary.
Well, I mean,
what if he had a knife?
Scary. Well, yeah, I guess that's true.
What if he had, what? I mean, it's not awesome. It's scary and it's delusion, right? There's mental fucking health problems in this world.
That's true.
That this guy's walking around talking shit afterwards. And this guy this fucking guy believed he was having conversations with Seth Rollins where Seth Rollins was asking dude for $500 because he can't get in touch with Becky Lynch. He's got the receipts.
He's got the receipts.
He's got the fucking receipts.
In his defense, he's got the receipts.
Yeah, fuck that, man. All right, so I'm going to switch over to AEW for a second.
All right.
Because I actually watched a full week of AEW wrestling this week. I watched all of Dynamite and all of Rampage.
Yes, sir.
And I'm still not fully engaged with it.
Okay.
It still feels messy to me. And that pisses people off, but it's just my opinion. You guys love AEW all you want. I'm glad it exists. I feel like the competition between the two companies is only going to make both companies stronger. But
For sure.
From my point of view, I'm watching wrestling. I'm watching it with my kids. Got to understand where I'm coming from here. WWE is the product that is more entertaining right now. For me. AEW feels messy. Still feels messy, right? The TNT title, the mid-card belt, was the main event again. I don't fucking get that. I don't get that. I don't understand why you're main eventing the show with the mid-card title. Why is the AEW World Heavyweight Championship not the focus of every show?
Yeah.
It's this weird thing where they're trying to hook people in and hope they stay, I guess. And here's, I'm going to say some more shit that I know. This is going to get, people are going to hate me when I say this, but I'll preempt this. I have to specify the fact that I'm coming at this as a completely new fan to AEW. I'm like 4 months in. I've only watched AEW for 4 months. And I am completely new to the world of Hangman Adam Page. Okay? Cowboy shit. Mm-hmm. So all my opinions are coming from an outside, fresh perspective, fresh set of eyes onto this product. I don't have the backstory.
Okay.
And people go do your research. That's not how it works. New people who start watching shows, they don't go back and watch.
Who researches it?
That's my point. Like wrestling, you're supposed to be able to just start watching and then watch from there. If I have to go back and get a history lesson on your world champion, there's a problem that he's not charismatic enough to entertain me when I watch him. And that's what it feels like, right?
Yeah.
Hangman feels boring. He's boring. He's not good on the microphone.
You need a champion that has that pizzazz and that
I need to turn
excitement.
on the TV. It doesn't matter what episode you're watching. If Stone Cold Steve Austin was on TV, he was captivating. If The Rock was on TV, he's captivating. John Cena, captivating. Hangman Adam Page, not captivating. Mm-hmm. I get it though. I get there's a history. I get there's a story. And if you know the story, you're appreciative of the journey and you're happy he's there. But it really felt like to me that at any point in time, Bryan Danielson could have just buried him in that fucking promo. And that Bryan Danielson started to turn heel. Now, this is all being recorded before the Wednesday night episode of Dynamite this week. So I may go watch Dynamite after this, and everything I say may be completely wrong.
Yeah.
These are opinions based on last week. But it felt like Bryan could have completely just fucking buried him in that promo. It also felt like Bryan was turning heel, even though Bryan has denied that it's a heel turn.
Yeah.
But as a relatively new audience member to AEW, Hangman doesn't scream to me, must watch fucking TV. It just doesn't do it. Bryan does. Bryan Danielson does. I get it. He's probably a hell of a wrestler. And that's what people keep telling me about AEW, man. You come for the wrestling. That's great. That's probably why I don't love it then.
I need some entertainment.
There's your answer. The reason I don't love AEW, if it's all about the wrestling, is call me the sports entertainment guy. Fucking call me that. I need the entertainment part of it. Because I don't have that much time to fucking invest into the wrestling side. The wrestling is just half of the fucking product to me, right? But ratings are everything, contrary to what the internet wrestling fan base wants to believe, right? They want to believe it's just about hardcore wrestling, but it's really about the ratings because TNT only fucking cares if TNT makes money.
Yeah.
That's all they fucking care about, right? And let me ask you a question, right? Most people who watch wrestling, they don't possess an encyclopedia's worth of knowledge of wrestling.
No.
Most people are casual, right? They're doctors, they're lawyers, they work at McDonald's, they work at Burger King, and they come home and they turn on fucking AEW for an escape from reality for a couple hours a night, right?
Exactly.
And so most fans are tuning in and tuning out. They're not, when these guys go, do your research, go watch New Japan Pro.
I don't want to watch New Japan
But
Pro.
most people don't. Most people don't. Now, the guys that are on the internet sitting in the fucking forums and talking in the comments, yeah, you guys do, but most people don't do that.
Exactly.
So you have to understand, ratings are everything. And what I see is it feels like AEW does a lot of fan service so that they can keep this small knit group of fans extremely happy, right? These hardcore fans. But the reality is, if you want to grow and expand on a global level, and I'm not positive that's AEW's goals. Now, Tony Khan seems to talk shit about WWE every week, so it seems like he does want to be competition. But if your goal is to expand, you have to have mass appeal. You just have to. And I don't think Hangman Adam Page has the mass appeal, right? Mm-hmm. To me, for AEW right now, this is a turning point because Kenny Omega had this long title reign where he didn't wrestle just a ton. And we now have Hangman Adam Page, a guy who I don't think the mainstream wrestling community is going to get behind. I just don't feel like they are. So this is a turning point, right? Because you have Bryan Danielson chomping at the bits. And this is a guy that, number one, if he immediately comes in and he beats Hangman from a heel's perspective, and he takes that belt off of the AEW beloved guy, oh fuck, he gets immediate heat. Mm-hmm. He gets immediate heat from the AEW like diehards, right?
Yeah.
And Adam Page gets to be the darling again, and the AEW fans get behind him. Commercially, though, when you can say that Bryan Danielson is your champion, that rings a lot of casual fans' ears, right? Mm-hmm. Oh shit, Bryan Danielson's the champion of AEW?
Yeah.
That rings a lot of ears. I think the ultimate kind of fuck you to WWE and just to the whole wrestling industry would be let Bryan Danielson beat Adam Page and have CM Punk align himself with Bryan Danielson and cost Adam Page the match and let those two guys just work as heels together and just fuck up everybody. Just as this kind of fuck you, it would generate so much fucking heat. Now, people are going to hate that, right? They're going to hate that. The mainstream guys, the WWE guys. I just think if the goal is to get as many eyes on the product as possible, the two names that people turn the TV on for are CM Punk and Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
But the hardcores will hate it. But to me, the hardcore fans, they're not really happy unless they're hating something. Mm-hmm. So to me, the way you keep the hardcore fans happy is give them more shit to hate. That's what they want. And the mainstream fans will shit their pants if CM Punk and Bryan Danielson are together, right? Whatever. Outside of that story, the only thing that interests me is the possibility of MJF and CM Punk.
Ooh, I like that one.
But here's the problem. Are we going to do just a 2-week thing like we've been doing with CM Punk? Why are these programs so fucking short? It felt like to me there was so much more fucking blood and milk in the Eddie Kingston story, and now we're just done. Mm-hmm. We're just done. We get a pay-per-view and we're done. Why is that not continuing? They're not milking these stories enough with CM Punk. Give him 2 to 3 months to do a proper program with somebody and really elevate that person to another level. That's what they need to do.
Yeah.
Last thing on AEW this week was Darby Allin fought Billy Gunn. Okay? Mm-hmm. Never have I fucking noticed the size difference in two people.
Yeah.
Than when Darby Allin fought Billy Gunn. It looked like a fucking parody. It looked like a creator wrestler.
He's little.
So it looks like when you create the smallest wrestler you can in a video game and one of the biggest wrestlers and you put them together. Darby Allin is so fucking small. And this was one of the initial things that pissed off the TikTok wrestling community is when I made reference to Darby Allin being too small.
Yeah.
But there is such thing as being too small.
I mean, I think I was a Darby Allin supporter. I really liked him. I thought he's a good character, but his size does matter.
It's all good when he's protected and put in matches with guys that aren't that big, right?
Yeah.
CM Punk, when CM Punk looks big next to you, you're still protected, but he doesn't come off as a monster. Billy Gunn, it looked like me wrestling with my 6-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
He's just tossing him around. And then you want us to fucking believe at the end of the day, somehow Darby Allin pulled out the victory. Come on, guys, you got to do better than that. All professional wrestling has to do better than that. I get that AEW's the hardcore indie wrestling, but you got to quit going against the notion that size does matter, right? Mm-hmm. Size fucking matters. I get it. Rey Mysterio. And that's the argument everybody goes to. Rey Mysterio, Rey Mysterio, Rey Mysterio. Yeah, but still, Darby Allin, teeny tiny man. I'm not believing if Darby Allin, and this just doubled down on my point, I'm not believing that if Darby Allin is in the ring with Brock Lesnar, that there's any person in the world who believes that doesn't end with Brock Lesnar flicking him in the head and him falling over.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. New Darby Allin.
Last but not least this week, I want to run through a few of some wrestling headlines I came across when I was on Facebook.
Okay.
Stephanie McMahon and Triple H's oldest daughter has begun wrestling training.
I saw that.
The fucking, I guess the McMahon era will never end.
Nope. They're making little baby McMahons.
And I can only imagine that this person, this female is going to end up being one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Because when you're able to train in the Performance Center, that place is fucking state of the art. When you're able to do that from a young age, if she really has the love for the sport, she'll end up being something big. Probably better than Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah. Oh God. Anybody's better than Dominic Mysterio. So he's great, like at his acrobatic skills, I guess you would say.
This is gonna piss people off.
But he has no fucking personality.
Every time I see him, I think of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. He looks like somebody who should be beat up all the time.
I agree. I'm gonna agree with you.
And fucking what's his name? Bobby Lashley beat up him and his dad. That's the ultimate like disrespect, man. He just beat both of their ass.
He's like, bam, bitch. You're
they
done.
just need to hurry up because I know they're heading towards a Dominic Rey Mysterio feud, and that shit's gonna be that's gonna be a mess.
Dad, I'm mad at you, Dad.
Yeah,
you took away my controller.
Exactly right.
I want to play my Xbox.
Ma'am, Dad's picking on me again. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we got. I have to talk about this because it's happened. John Morrison was among the 8 more released WWE contracts.
Okay.
You had John Morrison, Tegan Knox, Drake Maverick, Shane Thorne, Jackson Riker, Top Dollar, Ashanti Adonis, and Isaiah Swerve, which I think that's all Hit Row.
Okay.
Look, like I said, and I'll keep beating the drum, if you want new wrestlers and fresh talent, there's going to be a trimming of the fat. That doesn't always mean you don't even need a justified reason. These may be great wrestlers, right? B-Fab may have been a great wrestler. I don't have enough watch time. Adonis may have been a good wrestler. But you have to make room for new talent. And I also think, personally, there's nothing worse than being trapped at the bottom. And some of these people, you can get out, go do some things where you make a name for yourself. I look at guys like Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes. I think they would probably tell you that getting cut by WWE in the moment, it fucking sucked, I'm sure, right? But in the long run, it built them to who they are, right? Drew McIntyre came back, and now he's a mainstay in WWE because he figured out, this is going to take some hard work, right?
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes was able to get away and go, I'm going to do this shit my way. And he ended up forming and being an integral part of AEW, right? This gives these people an opportunity to sink or swim. They can go figure out if they really fucking love wrestling. And there's always, one thing I've noticed with WWE, the door is fucking revolving. Mm-hmm. There's always the ability to walk back in if you do something that gets you noticed.
Yeah.
Did you see, next article here, that Andrade El Idolo unfollowed Charlotte on social media?
Her husband?
Their fiancés, I guess.
Oh.
That sounds like bad news.
I thought they were married.
I just, I don't know. I mean, they may be married. I don't fucking know.
How do you unfollow somebody who you're married to? Or like,
well,
engaged to.
Obviously, I think there's probably some
Trouble
rough
in
shit going on here.
paradise.
It seems to me.
I think it would be so hard being in two different companies and never together. First of all, for a relationship.
Well, and I think Charlotte is slightly delusional. It comes off to me. Like, I think that she sees herself as more important than she truly is, and
Maybe
that probably runs thin even in your relationship.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just speculating.
That's
I don't
crazy.
fucking know anything about the two of them, but
yeah.
if it just seems like nobody likes Charlotte right now.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. It also has to be hard being in two different companies. And I imagine, speculation once again, I imagine that Charlotte is depressed in some form or fashion, right? Because if you have no friends and you're traveling 360 days a year.
Yeah.
And you're away from your fiance and they got rid of your dad, that's a lonely fucking journey, right? And nobody really wants to work with you. And what's your upside from there? It just got to seem, you've got to be staring at like an abyss of like, where the fuck do I go from here?
Yeah.
And last but not least, Tony Khan. This made me laugh.
Okay.
Tony Khan came out and said, anybody signing with WWE is not signing a real contract.
Okay.
All right, so let me elaborate on that.
The fuck?
So Tony Khan's basically saying, because the way WWE contracts are structured is, at any time WWE can cut you, but you're contractually obligated to work for them, right? So it's a one-way contract. But here's the deal. That's how pro sports contracts work, right? You work in the NFL, you can get cut at any time, but you can't just go to a different team.
Yeah.
That's the way pro sports contracts work. And I don't understand because Tony Khan's fucking dad, he owns the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So he should know.
So he should know that's how contracts work. He also should know if he's running around writing contracts where his wrestlers are just guaranteed to fucking work forever, that's going to bite you in the ass at some point.
Yeah.
At some point, that's going to get you, right?
Yeah.
I don't understand. When I first started watching AEW, I thought, it's an alternative product. Now it starts to seem like Tony Khan's just obsessed with WWE. He's obsessed with going after
better.
them. Yeah, everything, right? Their contracts aren't right. The Monday Night Raw sucked. Why not just focus on what you're doing? There's nothing wrong with that. Just focus on what you're doing. You're doing a good job.
I saw a clip, I don't know when it was, on SmackDown of a bunch of AEW fans saying, AEW, AEW.
I think that was at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
They were just behind the table. But that's just people being fucking people. They're just fucking with Booker T and them.
You fucking with me?
I mean, whatever. AEW fans are, no doubt,
hardcore.
I won't make the argument even. AEW fans are smarter wrestling fans than WWE. And what I mean by that, I don't mean in life. I mean, AEW fans are hardcore. They know more about wrestling. They know what to chant. They understand what's going on. But WWE is the bigger product, right?
Uh-huh.
It's the same way, and this pissed people off the other week, that guys who understand college football are usually nerds, right? They put their glasses on. They know all the stats and shit. And they're this college and this college. Guys who watch NFL just like football, and they just like athleticism, and they just want to see spectacular plays happen, to me. And that's the way I feel about WWE. Is just larger than life, right?
Yeah.
You go for the fireworks. You go for the lights. You go for the stage. You go because there's behemoths of fucking men doing spectacular things. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, God forbid, fucking 7'3" Omos, right? He's still a spectacle. That's why you go to WWE. You don't go because you expect the hardcore best wrestling in the world. You just don't do it. And what the hardcore fans have to understand at some point, there are people like myself who don't give a fuck about the wrestling side of this shit. I don't care. I don't care how good of a wrestler Kenny Omega is.
Yeah.
I need him to be entertaining. That's what I need. That's what I want. The wrestling is secondary to me. And if that makes me less of a fan, then fuck it. I'm less of a fan. But this has been another episode of the Pro Wrestling Podcast, or the NerdyD Pro Wrestling Podcast with a Savant. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel and hit me up on TikTok to leave a comment to get the conversation going. As always, I am the Pro Wrestling Savant and the savior of the wrestling podcast world, NerdyD. That is the Lioness Lauren, and let's ring our final bell.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the mic, he is the Pro Wrestling Savant, the host